Good morning, Hags. You're number one. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm seeing a lot of people. Good morning. Say good morning to each other while I get the music going. Here we go. Here we go. It's starting now. Do you recognize that tea music, Laura? How about you, Veggie? Vegas, I need an address from you. Send me your address sometime today at the DetroitMushLab.net. This bag right here, we're going to give it away later today. RX, thank you for what you wrote on a comment this morning. That was like a review. Thank you for that review. That was a good review. Appreciate. Appreciate, man. So, everybody here, say good morning to each other. I'm going to leave you guys alone for a couple of minutes while I sip a tea and watch you guys say hello. This is my second favorite time of the day when you guys say hello to each other. My first favorite time is when I listen to myself talk all morning. Sandy, 1 week from today, people are going to be arriving in the evening. Sandy doesn't get the place till around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So start your evenings Thursday evening. Good morning, everybody. Sounds good, Vaggie. Good morning, Moms and Marky Z. There's D. Anderson. I'm sure Hags is saying good morning to Moms. Does that mean they're not in the same building? That's pretty cute. Chad Hamilton, Niffy. Deb, there's Deb. Herbie Von Werby Kabop. I'm not missing anybody on purpose. Captain. Shy, Thursday the room's open. Or the building. Thursday afternoon. Late afternoon. Thursday. You guys have been killing the like button lately. Thank you. You guys have been killing the like button. I have to be honest with you. I went back and looked yesterday and the day before some of the analytics. And I'll say one thing, we're not getting dislikes. There's not too many dislikes out there. That's a good sign. So I appreciate you guys. We're getting those, not those. We're getting those, not those. When you get these, what happens is YouTube shows these videos randomly and just boop, they show up on people's feeds. And some of them are like, hey, that's pretty interesting, let's stick around. And they become newbies. So, believe it or not, hate to admit it because it's this goofy viral world, but those like things work. Likes are well liked by YouTube. And OIG likes them too. They show more of your posts. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to the exception. Good morning, everybody. Okay, we ready to get to work, I think. This we're going to give away later today. Somebody that needs it and is prepared for it and ready for it. Boop. Boop. Out it'll go. We sent one yesterday to Michael Brown. Michael Brown's been a little down lately, so we thought we'd bring him up. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. I want to say good morning to everything you do. It's a morning time that I find the most interesting. Good morning. Good morning to you. May I? Shibies, you know who you are. I want 3 Shibies. Give me 3 people whose names I don't recognize. I don't recognize their names. Oh, let me, hold on before you do it. Pops needs some lighting. Lighting. Where's my lighting crew? They're on strike with AFTRA. Give me 3 names I don't recognize. Give me 3 names I don't recognize. Shibies. Give me 3 Shiby names. Step forward. Okay? Matt, I can't count you as a Shiby. You've been in even. You're just not. Sorry. You're too cool here. You're not a Shiby. I want a Shiby. Somebody's sitting in a cement mixer right now. Give me somebody that's sitting in a cement mixer right now and listening to this on their ear pods. Dirt guy. Billy D, you are not a Shiby. Holly, you could be shy, but you aren't here. Okay? Nope, Justin White, I sent you something recently. You're not a Shiby at all. Okay. There aren't any Shibies left. There's no Shibies left. One round of Shibies, that's all we could find. No, now all you guys are calling yourself shy. I'm not buying it, okay? I'm not buying it. You guys would say anything to get in a game. No, okay? All right. You know what? You know what? Wait a minute. Am I seeing one here? What do you think?
I'm a Shiby.
Get out of here. You're the least. Pops, can I do the show? Can I do it again? That's hardly shy, okay? We have called the Shibies, okay? I did see one. Mellow. I'm counting Mellow in right now. I'm counting Mellow in. Anybody else want to join Mellow? Give me a Shiby. I'm giving you 30 seconds to get out of the cement mixer. I'm giving you, there it is, Mellow. I'm giving you 22 seconds. Giving you 22 seconds. There aren't very many of you left. Okay, nobody wants to run to their, no pretenders. Literally in 2 days, we chased all the Shibies out of the bushes. Really? Really? Summer, you graduated. You wrote me the nicest letter. Summer wrote us a nice letter. You graduated. All right, guess what? We're going to kill it there because we don't have time to keep playing Shiby. Only one person wants to admit they were a Shiby this morning. I mean, a lot of you wanted to, but most of you are fakes. I'm looking for impeccable Shibies. Impeccable Shibies. We found one with Mellow. All right? I don't think he was super shy, but it's the first time I've seen his name here. So, Shiby, Mellow. I'm going to send you these 2.5 grams of ghost fruit. And this is, each one of these is a fifth of a gram, 200 milligrams. There's 10 of those pure ghost caps. We want to mail that to you if you send us your address today only. If you send it to me tomorrow, this package will be disappeared into the ether. If you mail it, email me your address today. I'll mail that to you, okay? You'll find my email address at the Detroit Mush Lab. That's all one word. The DetroitMushLab.net. Go to that, check out the menu. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. But when you're done with that, scroll to the bottom. And there's a place you can contact me via email. Boop, send me your address. Boop, I send you tracking, and you know your package is on the way. Wow, did I do all of that without taking a breath? Did I breathe in the middle of that? I'm not sure. I can't tell if I took a breath or not. We're going to teach today, because Pops has been promising all week. We're going to teach instead of talk about rantos. However, I was telling somebody, was it Jolie maybe, a couple of people the other day, I apologized. I said, you know, lately I've been ranting. I've been ranting quite a bit. I've been on my rantos. She wrote back. I know, Penny, I'm going for it, right? She wrote back, she goes, Pops, I like your rants. So I was like, okay then, maybe I should rant some more. The beard, it's getting a little too long, or should I cut it? Honestly, you know, I'm getting my haircut kind of real short this weekend. So for Mushfest, I should show up shorty shorts. But I was going for the old shortcut, long beard look. Shortcut, long beard. Shaped a little bit, but you know what I'm doing? You know that guy. The old, I used to be a cop, but now I'm trying to be a gangster. Sort of like the Amish. Amish, I'd have to shave my mustache, though. Ew. No, I hate that look. And Pops has had a mustache almost his whole life. Even in the service, everyone else, like, I had that pencil-thin little thing. You're only allowed a mustache this big, this big. Sir, what is that on your lip, son? Sir, that's my, you should shave that dirty, you look, I would always get in trouble, but I held out. There we go, now I'm off talking about myself again. But it's true, I had this little Marine mustache, and it was like, no, 1 out of 1,000 Marines actually kept their mustache. And I was like, I'm doing it because no one's going to tell me to shave. Well, they told you to shave, but you were allowed one little spot, like it was practically Hitler. Okay, I was practically Hitler. they not as wide, but just as long. That's about as long as they... Regulation! You're allowed a regulation mustache. Okay, so off we go. One of these days I'll tell you more about my... November 10th is coming up, right? November 10th isn't that far away. Marine Corps birthday. So maybe we'll do some Marine talkie then, and I'll show you a picture or two of Pops back in the day. Before we do, I wanted to read a couple of things. We are going to study Micology today. And then we're going to study the psychology of giving. And as we know, we've tried to give away stuff to freshies and newbies, no, shibies today. You know what? Let's give something else away while we're at it. I haven't given anything. Number between 1 and 50. Go. Number between 1 and 50. You guys know what that means. All the veterans here immediately are putting 3 numbers between 1 and 50 on one line. 3 numbers between 1 and 50 on one line. Whoever says the number that's down my chute here first is going to win a prize. I'm looking for the first number, the first person to get the same number, match it up on my screen. Okay, I'm looking for that number. There it is. I found it. It's Ronnie Real. Ronnie's needed this, by the way. The universe just treated Ronnie correctly. Ronnie said 25. The answer is 25. Ronnie was the first 25 on here. Ronnie, universe said, Pops, yeah, I need something, but I don't know how to ask. Here it is, Ron. We're going to send you a 10-pack of Pops Ghosties, and we're going to send you, this is 2 or 3 grams worth of ghost fruit. Boop and boop. Ronnie, the only thing I need from you, you know what I need. Ronnie, what do I need? Ronnie, tell me what I need. In order for me to send this to you, Ronnie, what do I need? He's been around long enough to know. What do I need, Ron? Come on. What do I need, Ronnie? What? Come on, say it out loud. Type it. I need an address. Boop. Okay. See? It's simple. I need an address. When do I need it by, Ronnie? Ronnie, when do I need it by? See how I'm training them, Hags? Snap. I need it by when, Ron? I'm waiting. I need it today. That's right. We don't even wait 24 hours anymore because that means you could send it tomorrow. No, I'm not so fast, my tricky friend. It needs to be today. Ronnie, I appreciate you. And thanks for letting me play with you. Getting them in line, Hags. It's today or you don't play. Or homie don't play. All right, let's do something else. We'll do another giveaway here in a minute, okay? I promise. And then we're going to do a big one. I like giving stuff away. I like them when it's new people, too. So far, they're both. I don't think I've ever sent Ronnie Real anything before. That's a real story. I don't think I've ever sent Ronnie. I know I've never sent Mello. I'm happy. A couple of rando factors. How much do you guys know about the U.S. currency? So I thought I knew a little something. I'm ignorant about the U.S. currency. What is ignorance? What's the word ignorance? It used to not be a bad thing. Now you call someone ignorant, and that's almost an insult. Ignorance simply means somebody with a lack of knowledge. You're just empty in that field. I just don't know it. Doesn't mean my brain's dumb or I'm a moron. It doesn't mean a lack of capacity to think. It just means I've never filled that information into my brain. But if somebody came along and poured a little bit of information into my brain, I lose my ignorance in that area. Ignorance is simply a term about amount of knowledge. So Pops was relatively ignorant in general about U.S. currency, and yet I handle it every day in some way. Less today than we used to. One of these days, do you want to get rid of the pennies? Wasn't there a big move to get rid of pennies, and like a bunch of people were hiding them in their attic for a while, thinking they'd be worth something someday, and then they found out they're not. Now they're stuck with a bunch of them, and then we still can't figure out how to not put $9.99 on something, so you have to get a penny back. And I never take the penny back from the cash register guy. I'm like, I don't want an extra penny. I don't want a penny in my pocket. I hate change in my pocket. Just keep the change. Will you round it up or round it down? Who's over pennies? I know they could add up. Like, I'll get 100 of them in about a year. I'm over pennies. They're more of a, well, everyone's over them except Penny Pack over here. Penny Pack, I'm sorry. Pennies, wait a minute, there's some good old ones. I'm over pennies. Okay, I'm just, one of these days I'm gonna work my way up to nickels. Get up, one of these days I'm done with nickels. Done. I don't want to deal with a nickel ever again. But I'm at pennies right now. Okay? I'm at pennies. Sorry, Penny Pack. I know your real name. You're not really packing pennies. I don't know why. I have a thing against pennies. I also have a thing against change, period. 9 out of 10 times I tell the people, especially if it's less than 50 cents change, tell the guy keep it. Or you put it in the little thing next to the register, the keep a penny, give a penny. Whoever puts their pennies in the keep a penny, give a penny next to the cash register? I pour them in there. I put quarters in there. The only thing I've never put in there is $1. Okay? You know what's funny is we're all so alike. None of us Greeny, but Pop's change is good for you. It's funny how people are still so much alike. Okay? I had a coin collection, 2 ox, back in the day. It's worth nothing. It's worth zero. Collections get worse. Nowadays, try being a stamp collector. Forget about it. Try being any collector. Those things ain't worth nothing anymore. Franklin Mint. Here's my final one. I know I'm ranting. I'm supposed to be teaching. Franklin Mint. Has anybody ever gotten anything from the Franklin Mint? Collector thing from the Franklin Mint. Come on. You know what the Franklin Mint is? You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the guy that usually was like a gold ingots, like in the shape of a ship. Like there's a collection of 50 of them, and you'd get them on a month. You have to be a member of the program, and you get one a month, and you can put them in a little display box. Pop's got the ships, the golden ingot ships. Okay. Happy 13th. Like, I have a lot of Franklin Mint collections, Pops. Right? How about this, the quarter scam or the Indians, American Indian coin? It's like a picture of Pocahontas. There's another, legal counterfeiting. Come on, you've done the Franklin Mint. If you have never done the Franklin Mint before, you haven't been ripped off with the best of us. Okay? And the thing is, you have to sign up. Or spoons. Sometimes they would do spoons that you would hang in the little collector box. But they'd mail, you have to get like the first 12 spoons, and then you'll get the display box for free. I was like, my grandmother got every Franklin Mint, and then what she would do, she'd collect them, and then on your birthday, she'd give you the collection. Here you go, honey. I got you the Franklin Mint spoon collection. I'm like, I don't want a spoon collection, but you spent 3 years subscribing to this collection. Okay, you spent 3, I'll take it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. My grandmother would give me her Franklin Mint collections because I took one. Oh, Chrissy likes Franklin Mint collections. No, I don't, but I don't have the balls to tell you. Okay. It's a true story. You can ask Brock. I always ended up with my grandmother's Franklin Mint collections. I didn't have to do them myself. That was back in the day. 60s and 70s, Franklin Mint had us all like this. Okay, Vegas had plates. I know. What was these collections that they did? Queenie, what do they do? What do you do when someone gives you their collection? You know, they've been collecting this thing steadily and faithfully for years. Now they have it together. It's the height of their gift giving. Talk about giving. No wonder my grandmother taught me how to give. Hip Kitty, that was her. She Chrissy, that was my name to my grandma. Oh, stop it. I'm dying here. I'm supposed to be teaching, and instead we're Franklin Minting. Because it's nostalgic. Who remembers that stuff? And the kids here, some of you are going, yeah, can we move on to another subject? I don't remember Franklin for 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Now that we're talking about the mint, the dollar sign. The dollar sign. I scam my kids into taking them all. Oh, you know exactly what you're doing to him, too. Poor kid. You're inside going, I know I'm scamming him. Did my grandmother know she was scamming me? What? I never thought of that. I thought it was the real. My grandma knew. I never thought of this. Okay. I honestly, Gypsy, now she's been gone years. Wait a minute. Don't ever underestimate a grandma. You ought to know. Okay, all right. The dog eggs. Granny playing games. I always thought it was like out of the goodness of her heart. Now she's like, I'm scamming. I'm getting rid of it. Okay. Oh no. I don't know why that's caught my funny bone so much. Okay. Nursing home Hummels. She didn't do Hummels. We didn't do Hummels. We laughed at the Hummels. Like, who does Hummels? Ha ha ha! Franklin mints everywhere on the wall. It's just a choice. Okay. The dollar sign does not appear on any U.S. currency. U.S. currency. Bob Johnson, it's Golden Halo. The 1909 Lincoln penny was the first American coin to depict a president. What? I thought we were putting presidents on pennies for years. 1909, Lincoln penny, first time we saw a president on an American coin. I'll wait for it. Do you guys want to hear a couple more randos about mint? And then we'll teach stuff? This was all about the mint. That's what got me started, Franklin Mint. I'm going to tell you guys stuff you don't know about the U.S. currency. I didn't know it, that's for sure. Between 1943 and 1946, pennies were made of zinc-coated steel, saving enough copper for the war effort to make 1.25 million ammunition shells. We were making ammunition shells with our pennies, the real pennies, and handing out zinc-coated steel for 3 years as pennies. I didn't know that. Now, if you're a penny collector, don't you want one of those? Something tells me that would be a cool one. 1943 to 1946. Get yourself a zinc-coated steel penny. That's the way to go. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia can make 1 million pennies. Has the capacity to make 1 million pennies. In how long? Go. How long does it take to make 1 million pennies? Go. If someone gets it, I'll give some away. If not, I'll answer it pretty quick myself. 1 million pennies. It's taken too long. Someone's already looked it up by now. 45 minutes. 45 minutes. That's unbelievable. 45 minutes. You need 1 million pennies? Put in an order. 45 minutes will knock out 1 million pennies. Some states and local governments used to make 1/10 cent pieces out of tin, aluminum, plastic, and paper. The original American nickel was the 1859 copper nickel Indian cent. In 1865, this is going to be very confusing. In 1865, a 3-cent coin was designated the nickel. So it started out in 1859, it's worth a penny, but it's called a nickel. In 1865, it becomes worth 3 cents, but it's still called a nickel. And it wasn't until 1866 that the 5-cent shield was introduced, and they were actually worth 5 cents, and they've been called nickels ever since. So the dime today is worth 3 cents. 3 years from now, the dime's going to be worth 6 cents. And in 2030, the dime will be worth 10 cents. What? A little confusing. In 2007, the value of the nickel and copper found in nickel, the nickel and the copper together in one nickel were worth 9 cents. It cost 9 cents to make a nickel. To curtail entrepreneurs from melting down the nickels for their metal content, the U.S. Mint made it illegal to do so. Good morning, Benedetta Rampi. Benedita Rampi. We give you chocolate donuts when you first show up here, Benedita, if you're wondering. As of 2009, the metal found in a nickel is now worth less than 5 cents, so this is no longer an issue. Psst, psst. Sure it is. Yeah, all of a sudden it is. This book's written in 2010. What do you think it's worth now in 2023? Don't be melting stuff down, that's not my point, but I can guarantee you it's costing more than a nickel to make a nickel. They don't want us to know, that's all. Because we'd go melting. We'd be melters. Mark Zamarin would start his own zinc foundry. In the 1916 through 1945, dimes were commonly known as mercury heads. Mercury, hey brother, could you spare a dime? They wouldn't say that. They would say, hey brother, could you spare a mercury head? I've never heard of such a thing. They were known as mercury heads. And in fact, they depict the god Mercury. No, they don't depict the god Mercury, but they predict the goddess Liberty. The picture on it is actually Liberty, not Mercury, even though they call it Mercury Head. I'm getting confused by all of this. I'll read 1 or 2 more, but I am a little confused. In 1946, shortly after FDR's death, his image replaced the Liberty on the dime. Part of the reasoning for this was that FDR had helped to found the organization that became known as Go. The organization known as Go. His heads replaced Mercury Head because he helped form what organization? Think about it. Jeopardy, this is a great Jeopardy question. Cleany got it correct. Cleany got it already. Cleany, I have to send you something. I'm going to. He already got it. The answer is he helped fund the March of Dimes. The March of Dimes. Pretty smart. Good job, Cleany. Cleany, address me for one of these pop packages. I know you're going to say give it away, but I'm not going to. I'm going to send it to you because I was really smart. He put it together. He was like, wait, dime, Mercury Head, FDR, charity organization, March of Dimes, boom. The FDR dime was designed by the chief engraver at the U.S. Mint. His name was John Sinnock. He put his initials at the bottom of Roosevelt's neck, the engraver initials. Boop, I'm going to put my initials down there at the bottom of Roosevelt's neck on the dime. Rumors flew that the letters JS, remember his name was John Sinnock? The letters JS stood for Joseph Stalin, and that Stalin had stolen a shipment of dimes and had that JS engraved on there himself. Inquiring minds want to know. It was the engraver did it. Joseph Stalin had nothing to do with it. Interesting factoids this morning, and we found out that Cleany can put an idea together real quick. Okay, let's do some teaching, reaching, and getting out there, and let's do this. Okay. How about, that was some interesting information to me this morning. Okay. I'm not sure if I trust nickels right now. That's my takeaway is I don't like pennies. Get rid of them. And nickels, I'm going to start melting them down. Because I totally believe, Mike, that they're worth more than a nickel. That's just my conspiracy theory. Okay? And then Jesus Christ is out there going, Pops, all this has done is make me want to go out and get a dime bag. Of what, JC? What's in the dime? JC, tell us the truth. What would be in your dime bag? Well, JC, seriously, what's the ingredient in your dime bag? Because, there's lots of options. Give us an idea of what you're picking up. JC, what's in the dime? We'll just start with what color is it? Maybe if you could just give us your color. Give a hint. Okay, give me a hint. Maybe just tell us what color it is. Huh? White? Tar? Kind of a tar color? Green? They're Mexican brown? Tar color, kind of. Huh? Well, you're not helping us out at all, JC. You're out there talking like, oh, dime bag. What color is the bag, JC? Every one of us is sitting here going, what color was my last bag? What color's dab? What color do you make dab? Like beige? Downtown brown, Acapulco gold. You guys are great. Look at all these colors. Everybody here has had a dime bag one time or another. And you're all remembering. I know, Sharon, what happened to JC? Where did he go? Oh, the color of... Oh... Anthony gets back on subject. I had zinc pennies, man. You guys... I'm dying because every one of us knows. I'm thinking of the color, I'm admitting it. The color of my last dime bag was white. It was. I've never been a green one later or here or there, but I never paid just a dime. Last dime bag. It was white. I admit it. What color was yours? Not we're not asking JC's. Now we're asking for some. Go ahead and get the truth out. Anything but teach mycology. Okay. Who said Mexican brown? All right. JC's like, I still haven't said the color. Okay, he still hasn't said the color. Has Deborah's like definitely white? I mean, definitely white. Definitely Wapner. Definitely Wapner. Oh, Gypsy, you didn't miss anything. Hey, that looks like I never paid $10 for nothing. The time isn't really $10. Alan, Alan, the time isn't really $10, Alan. Okay. It's a bad show today. I've laughed too much. All right, the time used to be 10, Cleanie. You're going back. All right, you're going way back. Casings. We talked about making substrates. We talk about casings as being the frosting on top of them. And should we or shouldn't we? Mushmouth, you know what we're talking about, right? You know what we're talking about. If it was really a dime bag, it was really $10, you would just say that it's $10. But if you're like, cool, you got a dime bag, you know it's more than a dime. Okay? Like, who's really going to give them a dime, right? If it's $10, you just call it a $10. Ronnie, I remember back in the day, you would order your lid. You never bought by an ounce. You would call it a lid. And it was always it was like this. It was a 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, or if you had a full ounce, it was a 4 finger lid. We never even knew how much it weighed. Nobody weighed anything. It was just the amount that it was in the bag. Okay? So a lid was all 4. But if this was like a quarter lid, I never saw a scale when you were a kid, barely ever. Maybe at the pound level you do it or something, but no. When you broke it down and you were selling it out to your friends, it was like we didn't have the scales. So we all went by the finger. Boop, finger. Boop, double. Oh man, I'm getting it. So this costs you 15. This is going to cost you 30. This is going to cost you, instead of 45, I can get you this for 40. You know what I'm talking about? Band-Aid boxes. I remember, man, it was so hard to find Acapulco Gold. And when we were on the West Coast, Acapulco Gold, we would sell it in matchboxes. Buy matchboxes, empty out all the matches, and stuff it. A matchbox of Acapulco Gold. People, they standing in line for that. Barely roll 1 or 2 joints out of that. Does anybody remember a matchbox? Seriously, anybody remember just being able to get a matchbox full of the goods? Yeah, Deborah, that was right. They would do the scale, hold it still. Anyways, I'm getting carried away. We're supposed to be teaching. Penny, you have to remember matchboxes. I did. We did. They literally would break it down into matchboxes. And I don't mean the toy matchbox. I mean, you would put it in a matchbox. Ghastly, I don't know. That's a good question. Matchbox 20. Maybe it'd cost you $20 for a matchbox full. Yeah. Badge, that letter scale that you held in your hand, that's about all you had. What a silly thing that was. Penny, you and I go back. At least you remember. Hags, I had one too. I totally forgot. The hangy-dangy, Casing. Before I do casing, has anybody here ever experienced cobweb molding? cobweb molding on top of their cakes, even in your spawn jars. Cobweb molding. I'm going to try to teach something instead of talking about my past here. Gosh, I've had fun this morning with you guys. I apologize if we haven't talked yet, but I knew we were going to an hour and a half today. I knew we had a little extra time, so I've wasted it. Cobweb molding. Gosh, I hate cobweb molding. Freaking hate it. What's the number one cause for cobweb molding? What's the number one cause? Not cure, cause. If you know the cause, you have a chance to prevent it a little bit. If you know what the cause is. CCS is right on. CCS is right on, and Higgs is just a bit too moist, but it's really, really more lack of FAE. You are not getting oxygen flow through there, and in my opinion, your soil may not have been well pasteurized in the first place. So the bad microbes are winning. The cobweb mold of casing layer. We're in Radical Micology, our Bible, and we're on page 272 for a moment. Cobweb molding. The fine gray mycelium of Hypomyces rosellis. Cobweb is called Hypomyces rosellis. It's kind of a neat name. The gray mycelium is a relatively common contaminant on casing layers, meaning the top of our cakes. It's commonly referred to as cobweb molding. This competitor can be treated by the direct spraying of a 3% hydrogen peroxide solution. We use a 10%. I've never made a 3%. 3% doesn't sound like it's going to be very strong, but that's what he has here. You'll take 10% hydrogen peroxide and 90% water, mix them together in a spray container, and spray the top of that cobweb. You'll literally watch the cobweb melt. It's fun. I like doing it. I like killing that cobweb. And I know the Buddhist part of me is not supposed to like to kill any living thing. Spiders, flies, everything gets it. Everybody gets a chance, except cobweb molding. You don't get a chance. And you can watch it, I'm melting. Okay? Don't think it's gone completely. It's not. Many, many times I'll do that. I'll get the cobweb gone, and it reappears. And if I get that where it's going to reappear 2 or 3 times, I feel like I didn't catch it at whatever stage I should have, I'm going to just move the tub out. I'm not going to spend the next 15 days of my life cobweb spraying, in an attempt to defeat something that seems to be winning. So if you can do it once or twice and it seems to kill the cobweb, fine. If you continue it, it doesn't make sense, and I would move on. As a cobweb mold is a sign of high CO2 concentrations. That means you haven't allowed fresh oxygen into the area. The higher your CO2 concentrations, the better your chances of cobweb molding. So, fresh air exchanges should be increased to inhibit further growth of this competitor. So when you've found it, spray, watch her melt, and then give it more FAE than you have been. Whatever amount you've been giving is not enough. Let's talk about the casing itself for a moment. We've talked about substrates, and then you've heard my opinion on casing, but it's not the scientific answers on it. My opinion on casing is keep it simple, stupid, and I just use the same exact thing as I use for my substrate as my casing layer. That's my recipe. There's going to be some neat information in here, so let's go through this. Mushrooms that prefer compost substrates, cubensis, tend to produce a significantly greater yield when a layer of moist, non-nutritive material is placed on top of the substrate. I've done this quite a few times, and I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we'll make a cake, and it's made, and you're looking at it, and you can still see some of the spawn grains through the top, little white spawn grains, and you'll put it into the colonizing, and that'll grow over, and the whole thing will colonize. But you can still see, I wonder if I have a picture. You can still see the grains themselves. We don't agree with that. We don't want the grains themselves showing, even though you can grow that way. You don't have to put a top casing layer on. You can grow it just the cake without the casing. I have a picture here of them side by side where I did an experiment, a number of experiments. Usually when I do something, I don't do it just once. I do it a few times to try to get, relatively scientific answers, even though nothing we do is really super scientific. I'm sorry. I'll stop looking here in a minute if I can't find it. But you'll have a cake. Had a casing layer, did not have a casing layer. Everything else has been equal growing these. Except when it was originally made, they were made same time, same materials. They've been growing side by side in the same tents. Everything's the same. Except for this one was cased when it was originally made, and this one wasn't. Pretty graphic. Okay, I even have a couple other pictures that are more close up, and you can see the seed still in the substrate. The ones that weren't cased. What happens then is you're not giving, well, it's going to explain it here. What the casing is that frosting layer that we put over the top. This layer is known as a casing, and it provides the following critical function. Being that it's not up there for nutrient, where are the nutrients? The nutrients are the spawn itself. The nutrients really are the spawn itself. There's very little nutrients in our substrate, even though we might supplementally add some. The nutrient is the grain the spawn's already growing on. That's what the mycelium's eating and growing in. So since we're not adding more grain to the top, we're adding just a non-nutritive substance. It signals to the mushroom that it's running out of food, and it should produce fruit bodies. Listen to this. I didn't say it very well. When we put a casing layer over the top of our cake, out in nature, what's happened? Remember, we're trying to be nature. In nature, when the mycelial network is getting closer and closer to the surface of the earth, closer and closer, the closer it gets, it senses the amount of soil still on the top of it. And the closer it gets to the top, the more likely it is to say, oh, it's time to start fruiting. So when we put that over a false layer over the top, we're already telling you, hey, you're really close to the top. Your whole mycelium network's really close to the top. It's good to go ahead and start colonizing fruiting now. So we're giving it this fake signal representing a little piece of the Earth's crust. If we don't case it, it's getting no signal at all. And then it's just going to sit in there, and generally speaking, for a little while, it becomes overlay. And we'll discuss that here in a minute. So one of the very first and most important reasons for casing something is because we're actually tricking the mycelium network into believing he's really close. You're right at the you're ready to pop, pal. Now, to me, I think that's pretty smart. That's pretty neat. Because it's moist, the high water capacity, it also provides a humid microclimate. Between that layer of casing and the cake itself, there's a small little infinitesimal atomic level microclimate between the casing and the top of the cake. And it's getting humidity in there. And it's building up some CO2 right in there, right at the beginning of the colonization time. So if we didn't have the casing on, it wouldn't get that advantage. It helps reduce water evaporation off the top of the substrate. With my casing on the top, my cake, the field capacity, the water that I added to my cake, has less of a chance to evaporate if I have it cased. So I keep all my field capacity in my substrate for my mycelium to enjoy. If I don't case it, it's going to dry out faster. And for some mushroom species, it provides a bacterial microflora necessary to initiate primordia formation, meaning there's certain strains that really like it because it'll help them pin faster. One, for example, is Penis Envy. Penis Envy itself is a very, very slow colonizer. Of all of my cubensis strains, Penis Envy takes the longest. It also likes to be a little wet compared to some of my other ones, at least here. So my Penis Envy, I definitely case that. And then, I case them all anyways, but Penis Envy is one of the ones that probably gains the most here value for having put the casing on. They love the casing, slightly moisture, and they sit in there and they bask for they're like, golden teachers and golden halos, you guys could go up in about 17 days. We're going to take 21. We're going to take an extra 5 days. But when we show up, we're going to be really potent. Casing, the pH on a casing, okay? Casing layers are made from a variety of highly absorptive, non-nutritive substances, such as peat moss, vermiculite, and coconut coir. You could use any of those all by itself. I avoid using vermiculite by itself. Vermiculite as a casing layer by itself, I've tried it before, and they recommend that. That's one of the casings. Just sprinkle vermiculite over the top of your cake. Now you've cased it. My experience when I've done that, vermiculite almost becomes cementish. And it becomes real hard for my original colonization to work its way through that vermiculite-only layer. Because when that vermiculite also gets wet as a single layer, to me, it isn't the very best casing layer. But you can try it. It may work really well in your situations. Okay? We're just using coconut coir with a little bit of vermiculite in there to break it up and keep the coconut coir from becoming a sponge. 60-40, 65-35 mix. The pH of a casing is critical. The pH layer level. So whatever you're using If you're not using the same thing as you used for your substrate, make sure that whatever you use as your casing layer has a pH level of 6.5 to 8. Let's just say 7. 7's your target number. You want your casing layer to have a pH level of 7. Most of us know this from having grown other things. 7 is a neutral on our pH scale. Okay? The pH, even if all prior steps in the cultivation process were successful, applying a casing layer that is too acidic or too dry can ruin the project's yield. For most species, the casing pH should be a 7. Most casing materials are too acidic and need to have their pH raised with the quick-acting alkalizing ingredient such as hydrated lime. So if you've got one that needs to come up, you can sprinkle a little hydrated lime in it. Casing pH gradually falls to a less than optimal level after the first few harvests due to the acids secreted by the mushroom mycelium. The mycelium mushroom goes up there and he's taking the acid stuff out of that casing level. He's saying you're only going to get 2 or 3 uses out of one casing level. I say you only get 1. If you're getting ready to after you've gotten 1 flush out of a cake and you want another flush, add new casing. That's what we do. We don't just, oh, well, we already have casing on it from back when. We're like, let's recase our colonized and continuing to colonize cake, and we're going to get another fruiting out of it. Okay? On casing recipes, he's going to tell you some stuff about recipes. You've already heard Pop's opinion. On casing recipes, peat moss is a main ingredient of most commercial casing mixes. Have a good day, Paige and Michael, I think. However, peat is over-harvested throughout the world, threatening the bog ecosystem that it grows in. We've taken too much peat moss off of the planet. We're at the same point right now with coconut coir. We're at the same point. If you're like, remember we're going to win $600 million on the lottery? We should take about 100 million and start our own palm tree forest jungle, because we have to be sustainable. And the forests and jungles are running out of coconut coir. They're being over-harvested. Every weed grower out there is using it. Now mushrooms, there's going to be more mushroom growers than ever before coming up through the ranks. And that would be one of the first things we should do, to start. Give me 5 people agree. We should have our own coconut coir forest. And then if we have extra coconut coir, we sell it for just what it cost us to forest it and package it and get it out. But that's going to be one of the challenges in the next 15 years or so. Going to be one of the big challenges. Coconut coir, we're going to run out of it. So peat moss is over-harvested. And now he says the next best alternative many home cultivators use is coconut coir. Though many have issues with this material because it can cause excessive overlay. We're going to talk about overlay tomorrow. Overlay is when our cake gets so thick on the top. Jolie sent me a picture recently where she had some overlay. It gets so thick that it doesn't want to colonize. Biochar provides the same functions as these materials, and it can be experimented with as a casing ingredient. I have never used biochar. I ask a couple of you out there, try it and give us a report. How's biochar work for you? See, I'm sure you can find it at one of your grow stores or even on Amazon. Look up the word bio, B-I-O-C-H-A-R, He recommends it as a casing recipe. Try it and get back to me. Excuse me. Okay? So we've covered a little bit of casing, cobweb, and tomorrow we're going to talk about mixing, pasteurizing, and applying these casings. We're going to talk about overlay, and we're going to talk about when we begin to see the pins all the way to fruiting. So from our primordia to fruiting. We'll cover that tomorrow here. Okay? I'm rushing forward because I still want to cover the psychology of giving. And we have about, I'd say 15 minutes where we can talk about the psychology of giving. And then we're going to practice giving right here in front of you, abracadabra. Okay? We're gonna practice it. So yesterday we talked about basically 3 types. We gave you an example that if your friend is looking for a new job and they tell you they're interested in the company where your old college friend works, you haven't spoken to that guy in a long time, what would you do? You'd either make an introduction, or you'd tell your friend, you'll make an introduction, but could he please help you with something that you need help with? Or thirdly, you would say, you know what, I'm not comfortable. I don't think that I would be comfortable doing that. I haven't talked to my friend in a long time. Those are 3 general responses. What's the difference between those 3 people? One we call a giver. One we call a taker. And one we call a matcher. And believe it or not, in almost every social interaction that you have with someone, you're going to find out that you end up taking one of those roles. It's natural. And it's not a bad thing. What's a good thing is to know, what role am I taking right now? What role do I see myself taking right now? It's the same thing as the psychology, the teaching the psychology of parent, adult, child. And when we have relationships with people, we're one of those 3. I have a relationship with you and I'm either acting like a parent, I'm acting like an adult, or I'm acting like a child. And you're doing one of the 3 back. Clearly the healthiest relationships are those that come out adult. Sandy and I have one of those. I don't act like his parent, and he doesn't act like my child. We act like adults to say, a lot of us here. I don't like relationships where I'm a parent and you're the child. My relationship with Brock is parent to adult. I don't let him act like a child, and I don't want a relationship with him where he acts like a child. Well, we won't have that relationship. It'll either be adult to adult, or let's be honest, a parent isn't an equal. A parent is not an equal. They're the parent. And it's just what their role was. And I'll never want to be equal. He has his own equals, his own adult to adults. So all relationships can be broken down into that. Either as you're relating with somebody, you're either acting like a parent, an adult, or a child. Okay, none of this is new to most of you. But what is going to be new, or should be new, is practice. Which one are you acting like as you're relating with someone? Are you acting like they're a parent? Telling them what they should do? Are you using shoulds and shouldn'ts and woulds and wouldn'ts? Or are you advising like an adult would? Are you saying, this is based off of my experience, this is what my reaction would be? Or are you acting like a child? Well, I'd quit. I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't put up with that for one extra second. There's In every situation, in every relationship, you're going to pick one of those three. And I like to see you sitting out here looking at yourself going, what am I doing right now? Am I acting like a parent or am I acting like a child? Sometimes I act like a child. You know when? You guys already know. When someone asks me about tracking. Don't ask me about tracking. Is that adult? They're so afraid of a little kid throwing a tantrum, they don't even ask. So I see myself out here going, I got to get adult about that. Not be such a child. Not let it be such a trigger. So we all have adult places, and we all have child places that we act too. Is this resonating with anybody? CCS, clown's not on the list. The inner child, you know I've got that. I got the inner child covered. How many of you out there have man dolls? Right? But what I want you to do is think of yourself when you're in relationships. Adult, parent, child. Which am I acting like? What am I portraying here? What do I feel? I feel like a child right now. I feel like my parent is yelling at me. I'm not going to allow myself to feel like a child. So I'm going to respond like an adult. Because guess what? When our spouse yells at us, we're feeling like a child and they're being our parent. And so what do? We child back at them. Now the next thing you know, you're parent and childing. You had a simple opportunity to go, I'm feeling childish. I'm not going to go there. Let me go adult and bring that person from parent back to adult with me. It's not even a bad idea to once in a while say, hey, stop acting like my parent. So, we classify ourselves. I want you guys to practice that. It's not a bad thing. It's ridiculously healthy if you can stay in the adulting part. Like Moms said, it's not easy. But you know why we practice things? Because they're not easy. But we all know we get faster if we run more. We get smarter if we read more. Giving becomes more ingrained in our personality if we give more. Have a good day, Jerry. So we have givers, takers, and matchers. You're never always one. Just like you're never always a parent, adult, or child. You're never always one. But you're one of those three. I can guarantee you can always classify it down, look from over here and go, am I being a matcher, a taker, or a giver right now? I would argue, just like the child, the taker may be something we want to avoid. The matcher, well, that one's more parent. I'll do this for you I'll take you off of house probation if you bring home a good report card. And then there's the givers, that's more adult. So let's do this. And of course you rotate, Cleanie. But wouldn't you like to rotate into the ones that are really healthy? In order to do it, we kind of have to understand them, though. What's the difference between them? Takers, and when you're being a taker, again, I don't want anybody to think, I'm not a taker. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I am. I take. When I'm sitting up here going, I'm in taker mode. So don't pretend none of this applies to you. It all applies to all of us. But we want to find where and when it applies. Takers are self-focused and put their own interests ahead of others' needs. They try to gain as much as possible from their interactions while contributing as little as they can in return. Gypsy, I have been too. I have been a taker in my life. Usually when I'm in a job I don't want anymore, I'm through with it. I've outgrown it. They didn't promote me to be the president of the company in my 3rd month there. I'm going to take as much from this company as I can before I go get another job. I'm not going to give them 100%. I'm going to collect my paycheck, and about half of the day I'm online looking for another job. That's taking. There's all kinds of taking I've done. Self-focused. Takers doesn't mean, you're stealing something out of someone else's pocket. No, you're taking from them and you're not giving anything back. We take from people emotionally and don't give anything back. We've all been takers. What I want us to do is recognize it. Give me one person here that says, I've never been a taker. Please. I've never been a taker, Pops. RX, that's another one. Definitely take the paper home. Yeah, if you're leaving the job, I'm taking the toilet paper. I'm taking some pens, staples, a box of paper clips, and I might even park in the boss's parking space. We've all been takers. Matchers. Matchers. Have you ever been a matcher? RX, it's a bonus. Matchers. What are they? They like to preserve an equal balance of giving and taking. Their mindset is, if you take from me, I'll take from you. And if you give to me, I'll give to you. And I like to keep our relationship balanced. You sent me a Christmas present, I have to send you one. Yours looks like it was worth about $22. I'm going to spend $24 on yours. I'm going to look up on Amazon how much that you spent on that. And then when I order one for you, it's going to be right around the same. I don't want you to think I'm like trying to overdo you, and I don't want to. Have you ever done that? Have you ever looked up a present's value on Amazon and sent somebody something of equal value? I found myself doing that once. Just one time. I don't do it all the time. I did it one time. My goodness, I wonder how much that cost. I found it on Amazon. It's a true story. I'm a matcher. I'm a matcher. That's an example. A very vivid example, but yeah, I did that. Oh, see, I overcompensated too, Bill. It was worth 22. I sent 24. He isn't going to beat me in my matching. Even when I match, I'm a little overmatched just a little bit. Matchers. You may not think you think like that, but there's many times you're like, I'm not going to send it to him unless he sends one to me. I'm not going to do that unless they do it too. Don't kid yourself. You guys are all out there, I don't match. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. She'll get it when I get one. When they apologize, I'll apologize. That's a matcher. That's a match. You've never done that? I'm not going to apologize first, but I'll apologize if they apologize? I gave you a vivid example of a present. Try that one. Try apologies. That didn't cost you anything. You've done it with cards, right, Penny? We do it with cards. I take them off my Christmas list because I haven't gotten anything in the last 2 or 3 years from them. That's normal. That's matching. true, Higgs. Matching is subtle. It's very subtle, but we do it. And here we try to tell ourselves, I don't match. I'm not a taker either. I'm just. We all act like parents. We all act like adults, and we all act like children in different situations. What we want to do is recognize them. What we want to do is identify them. That's what we're doing right now. I'm probably overstating an example, so everybody's, I'm not that bad. You've probably matched something worse. That wasn't even a bad match. That was an average match. My example was an average match. Maybe you didn't go to Amazon and look it up, but I've seen people with their scale, I go, well, Judy gave me this. I got to give her one just like that. Thank you, Bill. You believe it. Here's another match. Well, that's a good example. Instagram. We match all the time. Matching is practically the relationship on Instagram. He pushed like, I have to push like. He pushed the like button on mine, I have to push the like button on his. I wish he'd push a like button on mine, I pushed one on his. That's matching. Not caring. We're supposed to just push a button and not care. This, I definitely want likes here, but it's for subscription reasons. Not subscription, but getting people to watch the show. But believe it or not, I pushed the like button because you pushed mine. I'm not telling you that's bad. I'm just telling you it's a match. And you have to recognize it. I never even said that was a bad thing. I don't even know if it was a bad thing that I got somebody a $24 present when they got me a $22 one. It wasn't bad for the guy that got the $24 present. What's bad is if I don't recognize what I'm doing. Get it? That's when it's bad. When it's bad is when I don't recognize it or I don't admit it. When I go, oh, wow, I just pulled a match, didn't I? What was that all about? Oh, I wanted him to like me. Okay. Okay, I get it. Takers, matchers, givers. Givers are others focused, and they tend to provide support to others with no strings attached. They ask themselves, how can I add value for this person? What can I contribute? Giver. Well, by goodness, we all want to be that one. Now, that sounds saintly. How can I add value for this person? How often do we really ask that question? Even when we're giving. Usually we're giving because of how it looks. I got to tell you the truth. Oftentimes we're giving because of how it looks. Imagine if you're giving because you're saying first, how can I add value to this person? Well, I'll be honest, one of the things that we like about giving here is how can I add value? I can add medical herb, we can put medicine in your hands to help you with issues that you may have. That's adding value. That's adding value. That's a real kind of a give. And that's not flex, I'm saying. That's the kind of give that's decent and good. What can I contribute? So you're up here and you're getting ready to, You're getting ready. And it's either I'm going to take, I'm going to match, or I'm going to ask myself, what can I contribute? Those are your three types. So what type are you? I argue none of us are any single type most of the time. I argue we're a combination of all three, but clearly I would make it a human goal, self-love, to be more of the giver one. Humans are have an innate tendency to be reciprocal. The giver part is an extreme, and a taker part's an extreme. We tend, as a human, as Homo sapiens, to reciprocate. You stay off my side of the street, I'll stay off your side of the street. You honor my flag, I'll honor yours. I'm not talking about what's going on in Israel. We tend to be reciprocal. You bring me wheat, I'll bring you corn. Reciprocating's trading. How's this? You guys ready for this one? Turns out givers tend to be the worst performers. You're the HR boss, not JC. We decided it can't be him. You're the boss of the HR. Is your best performer going to be somebody that comes in as, how can I help you? Or are they going to be a person that come in there, what can you do for me? Your top performers are looking out for themselves. Givers are your worst performers. They're at a disadvantage across a wide range of occupations because they sacrifice their own success to help others succeed. This is according to research. So that must mean that takers or matchers are our top performers, right? Not exactly. The givers really are. The givers are also the top performers. Wait, Pops, I'm confused. You just said, but I don't, the givers are also your top performers. You read that, right? The worst and best performers at work are always others focused. And takers and matchers tend to land right in the middle. There's even a little bell graph for it. Why is that? Takers develop reputations for putting others last. Matchers tend to return the favor and try to knock them down. That's what research shows. That's why takers rarely succeed in building strong relationships and networks. On the other hand, matchers root for givers to succeed since they tend to match good deed with good deed. Everyone loves, trusts, and supports the givers since they add value to others and they enrich the success of other people around them. In short, givers succeed because their giving leads to quality relationships. Giving leads to quality relationships. When you're not the taker, you can't be literally accused of being in a relationship for anything close to a wrong reason. You're in that relationship to help that other person succeed, to cultivate their growth and goodness and kindness. That's an amazing spot to own on a planet. It's no wonder givers are also happier people than takers. If being a giver creates stronger relationships, why are some givers at the bottom of the success ladder while others are at the top? We'll discuss that tomorrow. Selfless givers versus otherish givers. There's a little more to this. There's a little more to go on here. All right, you guys down with this? Givers, takers, matchers, adults, parents, children. I love this stuff. And I love you guys. And thanks for letting me talk to you. We're at an hour and a half here. Told you we'd go long. And we're going to do more casing tomorrow. And we're going to just keep on doing the things. All right? Let's give away this last. I want to give this pound away. Okay? That's very, very well colonized. This doesn't look so colonized because that's been like the top. There's a little bit of moisture sitting out there. But this bag is ready to go the minute you get it. The minute this arrives. So I only want the people that could use this immediately. And you're going to send me a picture of your tub if you win. Before I can mail this to you, I want to see a picture of your tub and your substrate. So I know that you're not kidding and that you could really use it. Because this is going to end up in your doorstep within 3 to 4 days. Okay, so I haven't told anybody to start yet, so I'll wait till I'll push this button. Once I push the button, I'll look up for numbers. Okay, by the way, we have a batch of these. This is the last one in this batch. You guys, I didn't tell anybody to do a number yet, so give me a minute. All right, I haven't even looked up, so I don't know the numbers coming. All right, this is the last one of this. Date 10/25-ish, which is when we get back from Mushfest. There should be another batch of these ready to go out, and those should be available to the general public at that time. Okay, so the question is, give me a number between 1 and 50. First one to say it that needs this will win it. Here we go. I'm waiting. Thanks for being honest, Mark. I appreciate it. Anybody that could use this the minute they get it. Okay, guess who just won it? Little Roy. Little Roy just won it. He said 6, and he's the first 6 that I see. Little Roy, I'd like to send that out to you today. Little Roy just won it, you guys. So he promises he could use it, and he's going to prove it to us, and then we're going to mail it to him. Okay, congratulations to Little Roy. Very quickly, as most of you know, tomorrow is Brock is having surgery. I think he's told you guys about this. I found out a couple of days ago that he has mentioned it to you guys because I haven't said anything out loud to anybody because it's not my business to do so. It's his. But most of you know. Some of you don't know. Fill in a blank here a little bit. The medical issues that Brock has are lengthy, and they have been since birth. And I don't know anybody, I've never known, not other than Brock, anybody that's had more physical issues, more surgeries, more through childhood, and he was just, I'm over it. I'm just going to be what I am, and I'm not going to try to get it fixed this way. This guy has like been put this off because of mental demons. He has put this situation off, and I've had to sit there as a parent and watch, and I've made my opinion known, but after that, I can't be just spend every day just browbeating somebody. 2 years ago, it's like, bro, we got to get you to the freaking hospital. 2 years. He does his thing. And it's impossible to try loving somebody even though they're not doing something that's good for them. And then walking through it, and it's just been, for me internally, a struggle to watch him struggle without becoming something that I used to be, which is to control and tell everybody what to do and do it now. And if you don't do it, and finally going to make it happen. It's finally going to make it happen. And I'm proud of him, pissed off at him because it took so long. I am. I'll work through that. Proud of him for finally meeting the demon. And then finally, thank you guys. 2 years ago when Brock moved back here, I asked him to come home. So he was facing some stuff. He had 3 or 4 people that he dealt with, and maybe a couple people at his job. Since then, you guys have reached out to that guy, and he's reached back and developed his own community with you guys. He loves to do your shows on Monday. I want to do them too. And he's like, no, Pops, I want Monday. Monday's my day. And he looks forward to it all week long. And you guys have become a real family for that man. A real family. Nothing like the one that he has naturally. And you don't know the impact that you've had on him. You don't. And I thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. I don't want to get carried away. Thank each and every one of you for the kindness that you've shown him as he's tried to show it back. And he's grown in the process. He's grown to the deal where I'm going to go do it. But you guys, see, that's what family is. So thank you. Peace, love. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And I don't know what time his thing is. They're supposed to reach out to us today to tell us what time tomorrow. But at the end of the day, good luck, good vibes going out. Maybe send him a message or 2 on his IG. Make sure that check up on him and be the giver that you can be right now. All right. Have a good day, you guys. Love you. We'll see you here tomorrow and carry on with both of this dealio. Gypsy and City and MDK and Roy. Yeah, gotta tell you, Roy. Thank you, Hags. Thank you. Thank you, my friend, my good friend. CCS Spore, Gasly, Mikey, Matt, and Alan, and Bridgie. Bridgie, take care of yourself out there. Brocky, my Marmars, Mushmouth, Broccoli the Beaver Butt. Mushy, I love you, man. Kevin, nice to hear that he's working on that, right? Maddie and JC and Holly and Billy D and Hip Kitty and Badgie. Thanks, bro. And Sharon, you too, and Penny Pack and Gasly and Herbie Werby and Holly and Marmars. And Kevin and Holly and Saska and Billy Flynn. Love you guys, man, out there. Big Mike and Gypsy and Anthony Thornton and Nerd Nature and Mike and Joe Lee and Kimberly, thank you. And Poncho, you are the guy. I love Poncho. Hags and Chris and Jesus and Mushy and Chris and Daniel and Jeffrey. Love you out there, man. Benny Ben and Marmars and Holly and Deborah Pearl, thank you. And Onlyham, thank you. Mikey and Saturn and Shy and Holly and Jesus Christ, all the way in Australia. Love you, man. Ronnie Real and Grady and Happy Dirt and Sharon and Herbie and Happy Dirt. Nice to see you. Holly and Streety. Have a beautiful day, Streets. Jesus Christ, and Skippy and Scotty and Gasly and Deborah and JC and Mikey and Hippie and City and Red Boy E and Hippie, Meow Kitty, Moonbeam, there you are. Alan and Mushmouth and Mellow. And Laura, have a divine day. I'm so glad when I get a chance to say that every day. MDK, Cleaning, RX, Daniel and Silly Gal, Kevin, Happy Dirt and Mellow, Shy and Billy, and Daniel and Hippie and Moonbeam, Pop Peace. Michael Pham, love, out.